Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Infinity Evolved Expert Mode. My name is Brink and we're on the FTOG server. Just brought you back because this guy is just about to be depleted at 9999, and we will see that he gets replaced automatically with a brand new cell that comes from this box here. So what I have here is extract mode without a redstone signal, always active. I had it like this previously, and I found out that this doesn't work when you have a single reactor. In this case, it'd be okay. But I had this pipe right next to this block, the inner chamber, the primary chamber, and the lever connected to that chamber caused a redstone signal that would stop up this conduit. And that's why I had never traveled. But now that I have a separate chamber, I have 6 chambers all around the reactor, it's far enough away from the lever that it doesn't get affected by that redstone signal. So I could leave it in this. It wouldn't matter now. But just want, the OCD has me switching it back that way. This one also had that issue. And by the way, I have the filters set for depleted whitelist only with an exact metadata for matching it, so that when the fuel rod is depleted, it gets pulled out and goes into this chest. I've been removing them and putting them into a containment box, which are easily craftable. And where did I put it, by the way? Oh yeah, I put a chest here just to store it. I think it's safer to put it here. But if we look inside, we have some of the plutonium that I don't want to carry around, and we got a good number of fuel rods now. And I've been waiting for this because I needed 27 of these empty depleted rods. And we have, let's see, 14 times 1 is 14, 4 times 4 is 16, and 2 times 2 is 4. So whatever that is, I can't do the math while I'm talking. So we'll leave it there. I know that I have more than I need, and we do have some more spares here. So this should last us a while. I got 135 EU per tick being pushed out. This is a design that I came up with myself. I didn't see it anywhere. I don't know if anybody was the first to make this design. If you can prove that you have the rights to this design, go ahead and post it with a proof, and I will put your name in the description as your design. But I was just playing around, moving stuff around, and seeing when these overclock heat vents drop down in durability. If they do, then it's not a good design. So playing around with it, moving it around over and over and over again, I finally got it so that everything is balanced, and it seems to be just a simple pattern. It's just diagonal is all it is. It's just alternating the rods with the overclocked heat vents. Very simple design. So I'm sure a lot of people have come up with this. I'm sure I'm not the first. But it puts out a good quantity, and these are very cheap to make. It's just uranium, and you mine them all day and all night. The good thing about this design is that when one is depleted, and if I run out of rods to be put in, and this remains empty, well, what happens is that now these heat vents share the heat with the others and are better able to manage the heat. So when all of these become empty, nothing happens. It just goes to 0. So this is a very safe pattern. It works out. Anyway, we're going to get back. I did want to stop by here to show you something. And this is the point of today's episode. We have too much power. I'm not using enough of this power. So instead of wasting all those fuel rods, and I am going to use the depleted rods, I'm glad I'm still making more. I don't want to stop the reactor because I need those depleted rods. I need a lot of them. Let me explain why, by the way, because you may be wondering why. These depleted rods, you can crush them in a thermal centrifuge, or break them down, I guess, in a thermal centrifuge, and they produce plutonium. Each one of the singles produce 1. The doubles produce 2, and each one of the quads produce 4. So when I say plutonium, I'm not talking about the real plutonium, the large one. I'm talking about the tiny plutonium. It's 1/9 of a plutonium, and it gets crafted in a crafting grid. And let's get rid of this. all tiny plutoniums make one large plutonium, and I need a lot of them for all the things I want to do. We're building up too much power, and it's going to waste. It's going into thin air. We want to use it somehow, and so we're going to go back to the base. We're going to build something that while we're waiting and we're doing other things, this device will be able to do things with all the power that we're creating. So let's get back to the base. We're going to start right away. Let's go right here and we'll take a look at what we're building today. If we look at NEI, the molecular transformer will make use of all that wasted energy that's going nowhere. It's an easy craft from here as far as these 8, but this guy in the middle is a little bit complicated. I was taking a look at the recipe. It's not too bad, but calculating the numbers is kind of complicated. These are just advanced machine casings, and we can do a lot of these. We should have actually stored a few because we're going to need some in the future. So we need 4 of them. So I crafted to make ready for 4, and they go around in the corner right here. Now if we continue, we need these 2, and then the third we'll do at another time. But these 2 are the EV transformers, the HV transformer, and the MV transformer. You can see that it goes in the pattern of tiers. We have an advanced RE battery. You may have seen this before plenty of times, but the MV transformer, very simple, basic with some copper cable. Let's back up a second. How about the battery? The battery is just this, just coppers and what seems like bronze, the makings of a battery. So let's go to this crafting grid. I have them set up. We need 2 of them, and they don't stack apparently. We need 2 of the MVs, and they do stack. Oh, they don't stack. I'm surprised by that. Let's see, did I make the same thing I did? I thought they would stack. I guess because they do actually have a native durability bar for power. That makes sense, yeah. So I guess so. Alright, so we're looking for the MVs. Here's where the MV goes. It goes right under the gold and right next to the RE batteries. So we'll put it right here. And there's one and the other. Alright, let's grab them and let's look again. Now we got the red one. This one goes next to the lapis design, which is this one. Very simply, and here. Now we're missing one more thing. I guess it's the Lapitron. Let's see, Lapitron. I used to call it Lapitronic crystal. I don't know why I used to do that. But does this go here? I guess not. So let's take a look at where these yellow ones go. Oh, they do go there. And for some strange... Okay, yeah, it goes like that. I was going to say, why did I build 2 of them? But yeah, it goes here. Now we get into this part, and let me show you the breakdown of this. It gets into calculating a lot of math here because sometimes it takes a few things to build this one thing, but sometimes the thing that you're building with creates more than you need. So calculating is kind of difficult. Here we have 6 glass of these reinforced glass will make 6 irradiant. So that's an easy calculation, isn't it? But this, we have 7 here. No, actually it does make 7. So this might be simple. Let's go ahead and start on this. Yeah, let me get some stuff together. I'll fill up my crafting grid so that you don't have to watch through fumbling. Just the way we just did, it makes it a lot easier. Smelting uranium, you get the ingots with 4 glowstone dust, or 1 glowstone block. At 100,000 RF will give you 1 irradiant or uranium ingot. I guess they don't call it an ingot, but yeah, it looks like an ingot. Anyway, you need 2 of these, and if we back up, you'll see that they go here with 1 glowstone in the middle, and so I think we're ready. We'll make 7 of these. They'll go around the irradiant uranium ingot, and then this gets placed vertically that way. Now I think we need 8. My calculation, you never know. So I'll make all of these, and I believe they go here with some copper in the middle. Or actually, let's back up. My memory. Alright, so it goes in this configuration. We just got to set that in place. From what I remember, it goes as a T shape with a copper all around. And there it is. Awesome. So we'll make 2 of these, and yes, these go around, 2 sets of them, I should say, and here. Now, this is the empty core, and is it that we want? It looks like it is. It's empty in the middle, so it's empty in the core. I guess that's what they meant. Would be interesting if that's actually what they meant. But anyway, this goes in the center of what we did previously, and there's our molecular assembler. Is not that, or molecular transformer, I should say. Not that difficult, not too resource intensive, I think. I think it's worth it, because whatever energy we're not using at any time at all can go into this guy. Now, we'll need some conduit, I think, and I'm not sure which conduit it can take. We have an 800 right here, but it looks kind of bulky, and I did make some of these energy conduits. I think I want to use them instead. Let's go set it up real quick. I took the button out of here because I figure, less mess in the living room is better. So we'll just access the portal pad manually, and we can adjust it here. So that's cool. All right, cool. So where shall we put it? Why don't we stick it back here? Very nice. And we will wire it here. Let's get rid of this torch here. So will it wire from the... No, you know what? I think, as I recall from my previous season, I think this is an IC2 powered thing. So we may have to connect it on this side and just connect another wire from it. It looks like it is currently harvestable, according to the Wayla. So let's see if we can break it. Awesome. And we'll give it some space, I guess. Or can we just stick it on top? No, it won't connect like that, I'm sure of it. So we'll do this. Get rid of this torch instead. And put you here, you back there. And let's see if we have any connectors here. I have MV type. I think we want to go with the highest tier we can. So here's another MV connector. I think I got to organize this a little bit better. Here's some LV I should be throwing out. Some more MV. And that would be HV. We'll just scan across. I don't see the connector yet. So let's pull up connector instead. Yeah, all of these are all over the place. I really got it organized. Why don't we check in here? Let's grab all of these and put them all together. And that's as far as I see them. I don't see any others. So it looks like I will have to make them. But for now, well, no, I won't be able to connect to the HV. So let's use an MV. And maybe right there to right here. And let's see if we can connect this to this. Does it get power? Well, we got to put some glowstone in it. That's what I want to process. So give me a second to run back and forth, and we'll see if we can get it connected. By the way, also, I'll make some HV. I think I feel more comfortable in setting HV connectors there instead. All right, let's get this out of here, and we'll put the HV instead. Now, I should be able to connect from here to here. Actually, no, you can't do a three-way like that. You'd need a relay right here, so that it can go through the two. So instead, I'm going to put another one just up there. That'll make it simple. And HV down. And it looks kind of complicated. I like that. I don't like it looking too neat. A little complication looks better. Anyway, let's look inside to the recipes and see what we can make. There's only basically one thing you can make with this molecular transformer for this mod pack. Typically in other mod packs, there's a whole list of them. But the thing is, in the config file for the server, you can checkmark and click on and off all the different recipes that you can make. For example, iridium or ender pearls, they each have a cost. But in this pack, the only thing you can do is glowstone in it to get these scenariums. Scenarium piece and scenarium on its own. This one takes 9 million energy, and by the end of it, it'll take your cost, but it'll produce it at a very slow rate, and depending on how much energy is needed. So let's stick all of these in there, and just the glowstone dust requires 1 million EU. Let's see how our power is doing. Looks like it's 1,000 in the negative, and you can see it right there in Whale itself also. We got plenty of power in this battery bank, and we are feeding extra power coming from the reactor still. So I'll make a stack of these, and I'll make a stack of the glowstone blocks as well. And whatever recipes they require, we can use throughout our game. Let's take a look. Can I click on this? Let's see. I'll hit uses, and we can make something for advanced solar panels. It looks like that's it for that. And then let's take a look at the other recipe down here. What can we use this for? Oh, there's a few uses here. Yeah, I don't know what they're for yet, but we will get into it. Let me wait till this goes. I'm going to get a block of glowstone also and cook that. By the time you get back, I'll have a stack of each. A little bit of time has passed since the last clip. You'll notice that I put a ceiling up. I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed with the molecular transformer though, only having those 2 recipes. So I disconnected it. I made a number of those scenarium. I think I put it in here. Yeah, and the other, I did make a stack of the scenarium pieces. I think I will need it in some future, but it can only make a few things, so I'm disappointed there. These are pretty much almost all gone. I only have one left, and we have all of these. Great. Awesome. We'll be able to do some stuff in a future episode with those plutonium. Well, this is jam-packed, and the molecular transformer is not the method by which to use up all this free energy. So I think what I'm going to do instead is find another way to get rid of this energy. Get rid of it. Use up the energy in a profitable way, since we're wasting all of this energy. I keep saying that. So what I'm going to do, I found another thing we can use this energy for, and I'll need to bottleneck it because I don't want all of the energy to go there. Just some residual, just a piece of what we're making here. So what I did was I set up in my crafting grid here, oops, lost my orientation there, some compressors. We'll make some compressors and put it into this craft, pretty cheap craft. It's a compressor here. No, that's not what we're doing. Let's take a look. Recycler. Oh, we're missing the glowstone that goes above. Grab that. And let's put it, yeah, it goes here. And we'll make 8 recyclers. Cool. Then we need a mass fab to get rid of our energy. Now this can chew up your energy real quick, so we'll have to bottleneck the amount of power that goes to it just to slow it down so that it doesn't kill all of our power. Remember, we translated all the power into the Tesseract from the RF storage bank. So much of it will go into that. Some of it will go into IC2. You'll remember that there's a glass fiber cable that comes from the reactor directly to an MFE and then to the lower subfloor machines behind this wall into here. Well, we're going to cut off from here and shoot up to the second floor, and I'll show you that. Well, let's show you from outside first, a little bit of what I've done. It's a work in progress, so don't think it's done yet. But you can see it's the second floor here, and we have a catwalk between just to have some space to wire some stuff up. I got to move this solar panel from here somewhere else. I'll probably make an extension of the building, sort of like a chimney, connect it to the outside and then put the solar panel on top. And we'll be upgrading that solar panel little by little to generate a lot of RF power. Now, what I want to do is come over here, somewhere around here, and I'm going to dig a hole, maybe at the end of this. I was thinking originally toward the center somewhere here, but it may be nice to, because we don't have any view of anything going on here. We have our island over here, so I want to keep this all open. So what I'll do is I'll open up this area here, and give myself some room to work with. And that should be enough, I think. Oh, we're actually at the end of the wall here, because it does have a lip, you see. It does stick out. So let's open up a little bit more, and we have a carpenter block here. Maybe I don't want to get rid of that just yet, because I'm just opening it up. It's not like I'm going to be using this space, though. So let's cover this up. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Right there. Now, the machines will go up top here, and maybe I will need to get rid of it, though. I haven't really thought this out. I do know that the mass fab, I do want in the middle. So what I'll do, actually, no. Yes. Because I do need to run the wires from behind. So I do have to come up here. I'll just move the carpenter blocks a little bit closer to the front or to the side. I did put these lights up, and they illuminate the place good enough, I think. At any rate, recyclers down, and we'll put them here. Yeah, that should be good. And the mass fab dead center. This looks center. So we'll put recyclers on either side. 4 on either side. And that should be enough to keep this guy always busy. We want to keep him busy. Don't want any slackers here. So let's open this up just to give us some space here. Figure out the wiring for this. Let's do it. So power will come from what we wired previously down here with the MFSU, I should say, not MFE. It'll shoot up and connect to here. So maybe we'll connect that right now. That should be easy to do right away. And there we go. I think we're all connected there. Can we get rid of this wall? We can. It doesn't influence anything and keeps our run as short as possible. After all, this is a catwalk. We don't care too much of the way it looks. And now all the machines are powered. Awesome. Let's just check. Yeah, they are. Cool. This guy is already working. Doesn't really need the recyclers. If you can supply it power, it'll start making the UU. Now notice, I'm hovering over the tank, the reservoir, and there's 0 UU. But when it hits 100%, it'll make its first UU matter. There it is, 1 millibucket. So you don't really need the recyclers. The recyclers add as an amplifier, increasing the viability of the mass fab to produce per energy. So, cool. Let's connect the recyclers over to the mass fab now. All of these guys get connected. Awesome. We'll need a way to suck out what the recyclers produce, which is, let's see, scrap. I'm thinking to myself, do I need another, you know what, the scrap should go, I'm thinking actually I'm going to make the connectors on the top, I think. I can do both. I guess I'm not explaining myself well, but one has to feed cobble. We don't need cobble to the center, but we can block that. That's not an issue. Yeah, looks like we have enough conduit. I was worried we were going to run out. But let's see. So scrap will go on the top instead. Yeah, well, let's do that. And then we can feed the cobble from the back. Let's do that. So this is going to suck out from here into the mass fab all the scrap and go into there. In order to activate the impulse of pulling out, we'll need to make this, is it ignored, I believe? Yes, it is ignored. And you'll notice that it lights up and the arrow is pointing this way. That's sort of how I see it. So it's pulling out this way. We'll have to turn the arrow on the mass fab. Actually, no, we don't have an arrow. Because if it doesn't have anywhere to go, it'll go to a place where there is no servo. Perfect. Or as I always say, awesome. Okay, they're all pulling out. They'll push into the mass fab. Now we need a way to pull in the cobblestone. I don't know if these are side sensitive, where it can only take an input from one side or another, but we'll see. I'll need to get rid of a little bit of this, and we can. Good, because this wall is covered from the back. So awesome. Now, we're going to run a cobblestone generator here, but what I want to do first, before I do that, is set it up so that it goes into a chest first. So let's do that. I guess it'll go here. And this is all, let's see. This is all work in progress. I can change things out in, after I set it in place. I just want to make sure that everything is set in place first. I thought I had some stone. I don't see. Here it is. I got my dev null here. We can set up a little cobble gen here. Yeah, this will work. Something like that. All right, we have water and lava. But I'm going to separate first with a cobble. Makes things easy. Boy, this is working out great. Even the placement of it, I wasn't expecting it to run so smoothly. All right, so now we just need the transfer node feeding into the chest. And one thing I did forget is some speed upgrades and a world interaction. I may have to cut now and go do that. But let's see, do I need anything else? These are pull. So I'm going to need a pull from this. One of these servos right here. Oh, I do have an extra. This is a hardened servo, so it should go, 1 per second, which is good enough for now. And, yeah, so I think that'll work. I just need a world interaction. And I will be back, and then we'll set this to run, and we'll see how it works. Alright guys, I just wanted to show you something before we add the speed upgrades and world interaction upgrades. Dolenmeister mentioned in a previous episode that I could fill this in with the CF foam and the CF sprayer, and it worked. It actually filled in a large area of the glass fiber cable, so I had to clean it off. But the rest is good and is now conducting energy. I checked the MFSU and we are getting energy from it. So it doesn't cut off the connection, and it just reinforces the area so that if there is a blast, it'll maintain. So let's go upstairs and add those upgrades now. And I got to do something about the solar. I am planning to, but let's add this, and this should start filling up. Awesome. Now our bottleneck at the moment, as far as production speed, is these conduits. There is a faster conduit. It's called Impulse, and it uses glowstone. Pretty simple recipe, just a little bit detailed. Let's see if we can go into it. A little bit of lead. We have plenty. All right, we got one of those circles. Here it is, item duct. And hardened glass, tin, and glass. We could definitely do that if we want to in the future, but I think this will work out. You can see that the scrap is already flowing. It's coming out of here. I removed the connection here with a crescent wrench so it didn't connect with the mass fab, but it doesn't matter because it won't accept cobblestone anyway, so even if you do leave it connected. I just wanted it to look nice though. But all of these are working and they're producing scrap on occasion. It's a chance drop type of thing. Let's see where the next one comes from. But let's take a look. There's one. Okay. Right as the one we were looking at. And what it does is it increases the amplification quite a lot. We have now 65 millibuckets, and it's increasing pretty fast. So that's cool. I guess there's nothing else to say other than we can reduce the power going into the mass fab by connecting a copper cable to it instead of this HV cable. That'll reduce it a lot. That'll conserve some of the energy. Or we can use impulse ducts on this and keep the mass fab running at top speed. I don't know which of the two I prefer. I'll tell you this at the moment though, that the more scrap you give it, the less power it uses per UU bucket. So if I were to keep a constant scrap in here, it would use the same amount of power, but you'd produce a lot more UU matter. So I think I am going to increase to impulse ducts. Or the other thing I could do is just drop down the power going into the mass fab, like I said, with a copper cable. That would be more economical for the moment, because I'm not producing a whole lot of power from the reactor. So I guess I'll do that. I'll just add a copper cable to the mass fab, and that'll lower the speed on it, or the power on it. Alright guys, one more thing I promise before we close our episode, one more cut, and that is to say that I've updated the pipes to impulse item ducts. And so they are traveling a lot faster, especially the ones in the back, which are Cobblestone. You can see that they're just flying. I've added a resonant servo, which makes the separation of the cobble a lot better in a few ways. The first is, it's doing stacks at a time, as opposed to 16 at a time, which was the other servo. This one is doing 64 at a time. It's set to round robin, so that if it sends a cobble over to this recycler, and the recycler uses it up and is empty, it will not send another one there. Instead, it'll send it somewhere else. This way, all of the recyclers remain topped off and full at all times. There is never one recycler that goes dry at all. So they are all filled all the time. So those are the two things that are a benefit with that resonant servo. We have impulse item ducts above, which we really don't need because the scraps are coming in about one every second or so, maybe less than a second. But you can see there's always a scrap in here. This is awesome. It's producing a lot of UV matter very quickly, but it's always on amplification mode because it's always getting scrap. So 8 recyclers is enough for what we need to do. If we wanted to, we could make this whole wall recyclers. But the mass fab is not going to do more than it can. So that would just be a waste of energy that's being used for nothing, because the mass fab is going as fast as it can at the moment. So 8 is perfect. Alright guys, that's about it for this episode. I want to thank you for watching. If you liked any part of this episode, hit the like button. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you all next time.